Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, 100 Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire and tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
I'll be trying to be me too, but they make it hard in the world these days.
Oh, Lord. What happened today?
What doesn't happen? Like,
Uh-oh.
listen, I work with children and young adults, so it's always something. But
Okay.
I've brought reinforcements this evening
Okay.
for such a time as this. And so okay, you know what? Let's get it out of the way now.
Oh, okay. Are we
Congratulations.
going to cheers?
Congratulations. Fight
Oh, no, you're
on.
not. No. That's what we not going to do. Get it out the
We're
way.
not gonna, she said we're gonna fix sometime.
Get it out the way. Oh, no. We'll get to it when we
We'll
get
get
to
to
it.
it. We go.
Yeah.
I tried it. I tried it.
Hey, Jazz. But
Oh,
shout out. Cheers.
yeah. Cheers.
Are you
No,
ready? Okay.
I'm ready. Oh, cheers.
Oh, we wasn't together at the same time.
What?
Cheers. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
hmm
So, how's your week been?
Yeah, it's okay. It all ran together.
Hmm.
But shout out to my niece, Anaya Monet, turned 16 yeyears old on
Hey,
Sunday.
thanks.
I know. I don't even want to focus on that part.
Right,
But
right. Because I
and
remember,
she's so cute. It's just all the things that I'm like, oh, she's getting
did
older.
I not
Somebody
see her
help her.
driving?
I don't like it. Yeah. She rolled up to my house. So I was like, okay, back up so I can catch it on camera.
Oh, you were for real, auntie. Like, we don't
Yeah,
do.
I did. So she did it all over for me. She's so sweet.
Oh, okay. She perfected her Cupid shuffle yet?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. What you taught her at the wedding or something?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh
She
yeah, I don't.
she
I
was
don't.
trying to be out with the grown folks.
We haven't had another shuffle moment, but I surely will ask her. I'll
Oh,
ask
okay.
her.
Well, happy birthday. Ooh,
Yes, happy birthday.
that means little Jody is up there too.
Yeah, she had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
she couldn't remember how old she was. She thought she was 38, and realized she was just 37. So
I guess kids are aging,
yeah, yeah,
especially when you got adult kids.
yeah.
That's
It just
crazy.
keeps
That's
going. So happy birthday to all the Virgos and the Libras, the Septembers and the Octobers. Happy
that yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday, y'all.
My
Shout out.
cousin's
Shout
birthday was this past weekend too. I won't tell how old she is. But
out.
happy birthday, girl.
Yeah. I saw that one
Yeah.
too. Man.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're not gonna waste time this week because we got some special stuff going on.
We do. We do. And this is the
Um,
time to share the
mhm.
broadcast. If you're just popping
Yeah,
on, share. You don't want to
yeah,
miss tonight.
yeah. Copy. First of all, if you haven't subscribed, do that now. We're gonna say that again in a minute. But copy this link, share it, so that people can join us at the top of this broadcast because we got some great content and discussions for y'all this week.
Absolutely.
Um, but as always, y'all, we're gonna pay these bills real quick, right fast, one time. The Crossroads Podcast is brought to y'all by the House of 334.
It's the house.
For all your business branding and copyright needs, go to houseof334.com. It is black owned, it is woman owned, it is black woman owned, and it is amazing. And make sure you move quick because the house will fill up fast,
We're
right?
already starting to get inquiries for 2024. I'm
Oh,
just saying.
hey, that's what quarter four do for you. So y'all get up in there. The
Yeah.
Crossroads Podcast is also brought to you by The Crossroads. Y'all can see everything we do at our bit.ly. That's bit.ly/, The Crossroads. That's THEXROSSROADZ. Um, uh, just everything is there, y'all. Click it. But again, scroll down, click that button. This is the most important button that you're gonna click, is that subscribe button. All right. So, y'all, and this is a serious moment. We are 44 subscribers away from hitting our first goal. Not our ultimate goal, our first goal. Y'all, hey, we shout out to all of our new subscribers. We're gonna mention those in a second, but we are 44 away. So please, please, please. it helps us so much when you share this. So for those who continue to donate to the show to keep this going, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. This is a labor of love, but love ain't free. And if you think it is, go tell your landlord that you love them. And if you want to continue to donate, do that. But more than donations, subscriptions count more because we want YouTube's money and not your money. We'll take both. However,
one and two.
however, you know what I'm saying? We try to get YouTube's money, and that's through subscribers. So also take the link to the show right now. Copy this link, post it on your page. Tell your friends, hey, watch the episode, subscribe, and everything else, right? We're gonna do some exciting things. We're going to announce. We're gonna do a drawing for new subscribers. So we want to make sure that you guys send us your socials when you subscribe, so we know who you are, so we know who we're adding to the drawing and everything else, and we'll announce what that drawing is going to be. So you don't want to miss out on that. You want to be in the running, and it's as simple as clicking a button and letting us know who you are, and we got it from there, right? So we appreciate your continued support. There's so far to go, and what we want to do with this show and everything else, and we can't do it without the roadies and the road dogs. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we're clear because you said something different than what's on the screen, and I don't want nobody to be mad at us. Don't send us your socials. We want you to post your favorite episode. So take the link, even if it's this one, take the link, put it on your page, and tag our social so that we know who you are. Yeah, don't send us your social. We need the proof that you've actually shared this with somebody else. So take the link to either your favorite episode or this current episode, put it on your page. It could be on Twitter, it could be on Facebook, it could be on IG. But put us up there, tag us. We're at the Crossroads pretty much everywhere. And that way we'll know to enter you into the drawing when we reach that.
She said, put my cup there. I just picked it. That has nothing to do with the liquor. That has everything to do with me not listening.
So, I was like, we actually went over this pre-show.
We went over pre-show.
And I wrote it down so it's on the screen, but he just said, forget what you wrote.
This is not the first time I've done this. It likely won't be the last. That's why she's here to correct me. It works. You don't see me putting up a fight.
That's true. Well, while I have the microphone, I want to also go ahead and welcome our newest subscribers. Now, this is not a complete list by far. Some of you are very private on your socials. So if you have a private page, it doesn't tell us who you are, but we do want to acknowledge that we absolutely have grown. We put some posts up over the last couple of days for National Podcast Day on September 30th, and you all absolutely responded. You shared, and we did see growth. Thank you so much. So welcome to new subscribers, either Tamara or Tamara Blue, That True Queen 1, Letitia Bradley, Tehran Rushing, Laura Pereira, Anissa Short, and Fatty Girl 78 TP.
Fatty Girl.
All of you. Huh? Well, I know. Welcome to the Crossroads.
Hey, fatty girl.
Fatty girl. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Crossroads, being a roadie and a road
dog. And a road dog. Speaking of welcome to the Crossroads.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been 3 years, and the Crossroads actually birthed partially in this person's house. All right. So,
hey, Tamara Blue in the building.
Okay. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Is it Tamara?
Yeah.
Okay, Tamara Blue. So thank you and welcome. We're so glad to have you. So yes, we have a special guest. We teased it a little bit, but I'm very excited. When I realized that October was coming, this is probably not on many people's radars, but if you are approaching 65 or you have a parent or an aunt or an uncle that's approaching 65, we thought it was imperative to remind you of the Medicare open enrollment period. And there's a personal story that goes along with that, why it's very important and why we're passionate about it. So we wanted to share it with you. And we're going to have a lot of fun as we get into the show, but we definitely want to start with some information that's going to benefit you and your family. And giving us that information is someone that I know and love. Well, we know and love. I knew her first. And I absolutely knew her first. But she is the owner, CEO, founder of Angie's Pace, which is patient advocate committed to excellence. And, you know, she's been committed to excellence for a very long time. She actually instilled excellence into moi. Okay, so for those of you who love me, and maybe if you don't, this is who you will have to take it up with. It's my mom, Angela McGowan.
Hey, Mom.
Hello. I like the part, those of you that love me, but we got to X the other part.
I'm just saying, I got to leave room.
Hey, it comes with the territory.
I see that. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, I'm here with two of my favorites.
Hey.
Mr. Barzini, and I see her name is, but that's her name. I named her something else. That's what they do. Go and get a new name.
Barzini named me. I wanted to use my given name, and I was told.
This is funny because one day she was going, "Oh, me and Jason." I said, well, "Who's that?" And she said, "Hey, Barzini." I said, "Oh, thank God you didn't name him that. I wasn't going to say anything." But once I heard it on The Godfather, it was starting.
Yeah. Fun fact: there's people that still don't realize that Barzini is not my real name. People used to call me at work asking for a Barzini, so I'm like, "Hey,
that's hilarious."
It is what it is." And few people even recognize that it is from The Godfather.
Oh, so, I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah, he dies. I know.
Well, hey, thank you to both of the co-hosts of the XrossroadZ Podcast. I'm Angela McGowan. I'm a patient advocate, caregiver strategist, and now I'm Medicare strategist. And I help people navigate through the red tape that comes pouring and barreling through when you're trying to get the services that you've already paid for. I tell people all the time, let's remember, this is prepaid medical. No one's doing you a favor. If it's Medicaid, if it's Medi-Cal, regardless, it's already been negotiated. There's a contract already in place. And so your name is there as owner of that contract. So therefore, I'm hoping that as we spend a few minutes tonight, you'll get a new outlook on who you are as the patient and who you are as the owner of that insurance. And I want to talk to you tonight. Do you know how to medically parent your parents? Wow. I hope some parents don't get upset with me, but hey, it's a fact that goes on and we've all got to get with it. And actually, personally today, I came from my mom's house doing a medical parent checkup, looking at the medication, and saw her list. And she told me one of those medicines she no longer had to take. Why is it on the list? I don't know. The doctor said, the doctor said. But what was happening was one medicine ended with Zine, Z-I-N-E, and the other medicine ended with Zide, Z-I-D-E. More importantly, the ZIDE had a 10 milligram and a 25 milligram. The 10 milligram was dismissed, but not the 25. So that is why it is important. Listen, do you know what happens when your parents say, I'm going to the doctor's office? Is it the doctor's office or is it a doctor's clinic? Shocked and appalled, aren't you? Well, it happened to me. Someone called me and their mother had a stroke and they actually thought their mother was going to a doctor. like a private practice, but their mother was going to a clinic. And that's why there was no one that could shed light for the after patient care. It got pretty sticky, but luckily I do know how to get through that red tape. And let me just say, the medical insurance sent some threatening letters threatening to cut the patient off because she had not shown up to her return visits. First of all, the woman had a stroke. She wasn't reading any letters. Secondly, she went to her daughter's house and all that was documented. But somehow in the discharge, that was forgotten. So it is important that you know exactly where your parents are going to the doctor. And you need to know if there are a variety of doctors. Are there specialists? Because people tend to say, the doctor, I went to the doctor. And we have to sort of keep up with the doctors that they are visiting. Every doctor has their own prescription. Every doctor has their own way of administering things. So it's important that you know what's going on. Now, as for the insurance companies tend to be bullies, and the only word they really know is no. But me, I believe that the only word that should be said to you is on. It is on. Whatever it is you want, it should be on. Yes, the discharges are just some of the most unfriendly, uneducated, unknown, just all the uns you could put there. That's what's going on. So what's happening is a lot of times when you go to the doctor or when you talk to the insurance company and they're telling you no, your insurance does not cover this particular test. And what do? You really don't have much to stand on because the last time you saw your insurance was when you had sign up again on your job. And we just sort of pick and we say what we want and we move forward. Now, case in point, I personally know this. My husband had to have a test and the nurse or billing person said he needed to come up with $1,500. So he came to tell me and I said, we don't need $1,500. Our insurance covers it. But he was a little distraught. Oh, but anyway, I actually called the person, the billing person. I worked at the hospital, but that's okay. And I called her and I gave her the insurance person's name. I gave her the authorization and I gave her the codes that she needed to use. Guess what? She just happened to call my husband and said, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. McGowan. There was, a glitch and I found out that test is covered. That's right. She found it out from me. Now, if you don't have me, you still have the opportunity to find out. On the back of your medical card, there is an important number, several, but it's membership services. Guess what? They also work for you and your parents and your spouses, because if you don't call them, they don't have a job. Point blank, period. Something else I'd really like to point out, putting a pause on the insurance company, is when you go into the doctor's office, new doctor, old doctor, whoever doctor, especially if you're seeing someone in the hospital, there's something on their jacket. Sometimes it's a small sentence. Sometimes it goes all the way down to their waist. Read that. Read that. Because that lets you know not only if they're a doctor, I'm talking about the doctor that pays their own medical practice insurance. That is the number one doctor. There's a doctor that says intern, a doctor that says resident, a doctor that says medical student, a doctor that says fellow. They're nice, but they are not the person that is the real boss. There's only two bosses there. That is the doctor that says attending or the doctor that says chairperson. There you go. Attending or chairperson. Now, let's just say for some reason, somebody's in the hospital. You don't see the attending, you don't see the chairperson. The nurse is, I don't know, pick up the phone, dial 0, and you say, hello, I would like to speak to the AOD. That is the administrator on duty. I don't care if it's 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning. The administrator is always on duty, and they will make it right for you right there on the phone. They push a button and somebody comes in that room and everything gets good. So what you don't know will hurt you and will hurt the people that you love. It's important that we understand this is our responsibility. We have rights that the medical insurance will take care of us, but it's our responsibility to enforce those rights. Now, of course, when someone is weak and can't in pain, no. But if they have a daughter or a sister or a son or someone that knows these minor things like calling membership services, calling the AOD, calling a charge nurse, okay? So any of those people, you are going to get results. In the doctor's office, okay? There's always an office manager, okay? They manage things. Many of the people that work there don't think they do, but believe me, the office manager can take care of it. And what do? Office manager won't. The doctor didn't. No worries. Especially if you're on Medicare. If you're on Medicare in the hospital, at the doctor's office, and you feel you weren't treated right, there's a form that gets mailed to you. If not, you can call the phone number on the back of your Medicare card. And that doctor in that hospital will be punished to the tune of 20%. So let's just say this bill is $20,000. That's a lot of money they're going to have to get back. Okay. I'm not talking about tithes and offering either. This is above and beyond that. Nobody wants that. I personally worked for a doctor and he had to pay Blue Cross back $20,000. And the exact words on the letter were, and if we don't get our money, you will no longer be a Blue Cross physician. I sent it FedEx. So I know for sure that these things happen and that this is what we have to do. Sorry.
You're popular. People are already ringing your phone like, can we meet with you? Can we meet with you? But I mean, these are great things to know, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And so my thought was for many of our viewers and listeners that either for themselves or for their families, they may need to know some of these things that will help save a life, that will, turn around treatment, that will just keep them out of a more harrowing situation than they probably are already in just by having a loved one that is ill. So if you are in the chat now, you have specific questions, please go ahead and put it in the chat. But, Mom, with this being the open enrollment for Medicare, what is the importance of that? How should we be moving and acting and reviewing things? Like, what should we be doing right now?
Okay. If you have a job and you pay Social Security, then you definitely should, no matter what age you are, you should have an online account, ssa.gov. If you did not, and when you retire, you'll be handling this with your retirement board. But let me just tell you, these are two things, and this is serious. Medicare doesn't play, and Social Security doesn't care. Point blank, period. Write it down. If you do not have yourself enrolled October 1st through December 7th, okay, this is new enrollment, then there's really no excuse, because if this is your first time, you're just turning 65, 90 days before your 65th birthday, you can make any choices, ask questions. 90 days after your 65th birthday, you can ask questions and make any choices. However, on your 66th birthday, if you want to make choices or ask questions, October 1st through December 7th, unless it's on a Sunday, and then you get December 8th. You cannot afford not to know what's going to happen, because the culture shock is when you're working, you go to HR, you tell them what you want, and then they give you a paper. If it doesn't come out right, they say, okay, next quarter we'll amend it. There is no amending. There's no forgiveness. No one cares. They don't care. So you may think, I'm going to go tell Social Security is the daddy and their child is Medicare. So you can go tell the daddy and the child will be laughing when you come back because the daddy says no. The dad said no. No means no. Okay. Now, there is, I hate to give, well, I'm not going to say I hate to give, but here's the caveat on that. If the daddy, Social Security, is not your daddy, and it is the retirement board, if you find out Social Security is not your daddy, it's the retirement board, here we go. Sometimes that's a culture shock. Come on back to me. Come on back.
This week on Medical Maury.
Wherever your daddy is, okay, whoever your daddy is, that's going to be paying Medicare, listen, it's still your fault. If you say, take it out of my checking account, and for some reason there's a breakdown, I don't know, the pandemic, people are at home, nobody's doing their job, guess what? You are no longer covered because they don't have your money. They don't have it. So you're not covered. And you will be fighting. You can cry. You can wait on that phone for hours. And they will just act like my office hours are from 9 to 5. Heard that. Okay. That's it. That's what they're going to say.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the
My
truth.
office hours are from October 1st to December 7th. All that. Here's something that happens, and I can understand what happens. Before you turn 65, 30 to 60 days, you get the red, white, and blue card. You'll be like, I'm in. Yes, you are. But you might not be in where you want to be. You're in what I call the Big Daddy Medicare, the original plan. If you want to have an advantage plan, which what we would call like a HMO, PPO, those, then you have to enroll in that. If you don't enroll in it, you'll just be in Big Daddy plan. However, Big Daddy says A and B, hospital and office. If you didn't tell him, may I please, Father, have drug access, then you don't have any. You will be paying the current rate for all of your medications, point blank, period. And there will not be enough GoFundMes in the world to pay the cost of drugs. Okay.
And you guys, look, we're spending this time because it's important. When I tell you it's important, if you haven't already experienced it in your life or with your family, you really don't want to. One of the first things, and I know a couple of weeks ago, we started talking more about health, and we're going to continue to do that. The first thing that we want for each of you is that you don't even wind up in a position that you're on medications and you have to be hospitalized. That's step one. But if you're in a position where you're already there or that happens anyway, then you absolutely want to know how to advocate for yourself, because it sounds like nobody's walking you through this. Like if you don't know these things and you're not checking and double checking or triple checking, then it's ultimately your bad, and it's going to cost you an extreme amount of money and some money that you may not even have. So if all of this still sounds like, Greek to you, you're like, I don't get it, then, we absolutely want to make sure that you know that you have a resource. And Miss Angela's, I called her in front of you all because I gotta put some respect on her name. Miss Angela can be found on social media. Her IG is Pro Patient Advocate. On Twitter, it's Pro Patient Advo. And then she has a Facebook group, the Powerful Patient Movement. So again, whether it's you, because we know we have some roadies and road dogs, this may apply to you. The majority of you are probably children of those that this applies to. But remember, while you're working, right? She talked to you about making sure that as you're working, you understand what's going on. So when you get to that age, you are prepared and ready to go. So there's something for you, whether You are a child, you are a niece or nephew or grandchild, or again, if you are the patient yourself. So we absolutely wanted to give you this public service announcement.
And can I just say this one more thing? I just want to break in on this. So here's an example of what goes on at work with your insurance. So you go and you pick Blue Cross, HMO, Blue Cross, PPO, or you might put Blue Cross, CMS. There's all kind of names, all kind of blues. And then the HR people say you cannot have this because you have the wrong blue. You need to call Blue because there's only one Blue. There's only one of all of them. All of these other little CMS, HEPs, all that, your HR put that up so they could raise the roof on your rates. That's right. That's what they're doing. They're raising it. They're raising it. So I called Blue with the diagnosis code and all the ICD, and they said there is only one Blue. So the case manager just happened to be in there listening. I said, I guess you have to go type a fax or something or email to the person across the way and let them know Blue said there's only one Blue. And that's what happened. Yeah. And that's how my husband saw a specialist that Monday. Because if you don't look out for yourself, I guarantee you, there's nobody up in that hospital doing it. Mm-mm.
I've seen people. There was one situation. I think I talked about it on the show. I just felt real bad for this lady. I was at the pharmacy picking up a prescription, and the lady in front of me couldn't afford her prescription. They were saying it was like I think $75. She didn't have it until like that Friday or whenever her payday was. Whatever medication it was, she really needed it because she was trying to negotiate, like, can I get like 3 pills, like for now until, and the pharmacist was like, we can't, like they legally just couldn't do it. And so I'm waiting to kind of see what's happening, but I eventually ended up paying for it. Just because like she was politicking like so much. I wasn't sure this lady was gonna be able to live the next 3 days without the medication. Like I don't know what the condition was. I couldn't pronounce the medication, but it was just like wow, And so
what do you think happens when you go there and they say they don't have all the pills and they only give you 10 and they owe you 25 more? What happens then? Is it illegal? It's not illegal. You see what I'm saying? It can be done. They do it all the time. We don't have but 15 pills, but you're owed 90. Can you come back on Tuesday when the order comes in? You see, of course, this is something you knew, but I'm saying it absolutely, she didn't know. This absolutely is not illegal. Right. But I don't know. We have to know. Those are the things that the average person doesn't know. How would you know that? Right. But I'm just saying that
had I known, I'd have been up there like, y'all gonna give her 3 pills.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm with that. But I'm just saying when they start saying it's against the law, it's illegal. When they only give you half your prescription, there's no law broken. Nobody arrests the pharmacist. Nobody says anything. They just go right on.
That's kind of like when you go to the fast food place and they charge you extra for cheese, but they don't never take money off when you don't want something on the burger. I was like, I don't want onions. You don't take no money off.
Oh, Lord.
That is close to what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Now we're here. I knew I got it.
Well, it's going to be an exciting time because Miss Angela decided to stick around with us. So as we travel through some of these topics, it's gonna be funny, It's gonna be.
But while y'all traveling, go down there and hit that button.
There you go. Subscribe.
There you go. Let them know.
We done gave y'all some nuggets on today. So
on today, sounded like the Baptist church. On today.
So make sure y'all subscribe for more of these nuggets and this information, y'all. The application of information is power. We say knowledge is power. I disagree. The application of knowledge is power. And so we need to learn how to apply the knowledge that we are getting. And those of you who are...
And one more thing. Hold on. Everyone that subscribes, when you guys find them on that, if you like, then you can get a free 15-minute call with me if you are subscribing today.
Today.
On today. Look
On
at that.
today. Now that you might absolutely have to let us know because
Mhm.
again, if your account is private, you might have to send us an email, which is fine. I'll put the email up. Once you have subscribed, go ahead and send us an email and let us know that you want your free 15. Thank you so much.
Look at
Welcome.
See, she's on the drive to 500.
Yeah, I definitely have to. Yeah, I definitely have to send my mama her way though,
Yeah.
and ask some questions. So
You do that. You do that.
yeah. I don't know what my daddy doing. I'm good.
Well, Miss Angela's writing a book for men. Aren't
Huh?
you writing a book?
He's not 65 yet, is he? Your
My
father?
dad?
Yeah.
Oh no, he in his 70s.
Oh, he's already on Medicare. Okay, good.
Mhm.
All right. Well, if he has questions, no problem.
Yeah, he's something. I need to make sure that he's good.
Okay.
So, or on yesterday. Yes.
Or on yesterday. I like her already.
Mhm.
Yes,
On yesterday.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If you subscribe during the from September 30th all the way to October 3rd, it is a yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
sis. So send us your email because we absolutely confirmed you as a subscriber. Send us an email so that we have there's a way to contact you, and then you can set up that call with her.
Absolutely.
All right. See if we connecting the folks.
Let's
This is
go
what
on.
we're here for. Edutainment. We did the edu.
Not for
Time
payment.
Uh-huh.
Oh, all right.
This is gonna be a hard shift.
Not too hard. Not too hard. Not too hard.
Well, we don't know. I mean, this person, if alive, is close to, what I'm saying, having to apply for said benefits. I don't know if it stretches to Cuba where people think he is.
Not if alive. Have
If
mercy.
alive, y'all. But in the Tupac murder saga, right? That's come back.
It's a saga.
Right. We just passed what 27 years? I want to say
27 years. Yeah.
27 years ago, September 1996, we lost a legend in the hip hop game of Tupac Shakur, um, who was famously gunned down. But Keefe D has now been arrested in connection with Tupac's murder. Um, this got to be some of the dumbest shit that I've seen. And I'm sorry for the but like, who has been doing interviews, all but confessing to his involvement in Tupac's murder. And I don't know if this is if he's clout chasing, like what this dude is thinking about, but he's just talking like no
Just
one's
talking.
listening. Like
Singing
no
like
one
a
is listening.
canary.
Right. And now he's been locked up. So I don't know if this puts closure on it. It's raising more questions. There's rumors out there about money having been offered by Diddy, but not paid, and there's collusion. Like there's a lot, y'all, and you gotta believe half of what you see, none of what you hear. But it's happening, so we're talking about it. So, what are y'all thoughts on this new information around Tupac's murder?
I don't know how new it is. I just felt like Keefe D's name has been linked for as long as we've known about this, right? Orlando Anderson, of course, was the nephew, but both of them notorious, Southside Crips. Somebody stole somebody's chain. Was that what it was? Stole a death row chain. And then, at the infamous night at the fight, Tupac and Suge wind up stomping out Orlando. And then later that night, he winds up getting shot. So, I mean, when we talk about the law, of course, you have to prove this and that. But without that, right, like it wouldn't take anybody, anything to come up with like who was involved with this. So why it took 27 years for an arrest, that part I'm not really sure of. I mean, outside of him now saying it out of his own mouth, I guess. But
I mean, I guess it was like Social Security. They don't care. You know.
You learned something today.
I learned something today. Daddy don't care.
Daddy don't care. Daddy don't care.
That the blue shield, in this
Mm.
case, we talking about. Look, I got all the puns and segues today. Shout out to.
Oh, yeah. You did sick. I'm proud.
All right, but I think that I think Tupac and Biggie's murder was orchestrated. To be honest, their chokehold just on the world was tremendous. Like that's all the world paid attention to those years,
And
like the East
still.
Coast West Coast beef.
Mhm.
And so much that was going on, and like I said, we still talk about it to this day, right? um and I really feel I personally don't see the benefit in their murder because I felt like the beef contributed to their agenda. um but I don't know, maybe they feared that quelling the beef would inspire unity among Black people.
Mm.
And so I don't know if there was some reconciliation in the works, because that's what I see. Like if Tupac and Biggie were to reconcile, what that would have done for hip hop, because of what hip hop does for the Black community, would have been tremendous, because it was more powerful than a gang truce. We see gang truces all the time. That just means we beefing, but we ain't killing for a few months or whatever that looks like,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
But we were a nation divided over two artists, right? And you had to pick a side. There was no in between, right? The South and the Midwest weren't really big at the time. So Outkast was just kind of like on the come up, right? They had just won a couple awards, but hip hop was East Coast. It was New York and LA, period.
Let's go.
You
Mhm.
know, and then everybody else was just kind of divided. So it's like when you see the magnitude, and then look at the magnitude of their death, like how that shook the entire world up, right? And we still wonder if Pac is alive. Still, like anybody who looks remotely like Pac, like I seen him, like people, they were so attached to him, like they still almost need to believe in what he stood for, which changed from day to day. you know,
That's true.
Pac was a revolutionary on Monday and a gangster on Tuesday, a lover on Wednesday, a mama's boy on Thursday. Dear mama, you was on crack, but I
But I
killed
love you.
somebody of you, but I
Yeah.
love. Like, wait, what's
Yeah.
happening here? You taught me to be a revolutionary and an activist, but West Side. Like, but
That's true. All of that. That's true. Did you watch the Dear Mama documentary? It was on Hulu, like
I
a
did, I did,
okay, because
yeah.
that, I didn't want to watch it at first because, again, to your point, over these past, 26, 27 years since both of them have died, we've seen it. Okay. Like
Mhm.
we've seen the behind the music, the, the unsung, the this and that. Then they dramatize, the murders on Netflix, I think, or it might have started somewhere else, but now it's on Netflix. And I was just like, oh God, another thing. But it was really good. I
Mhm.
actually enjoyed it, and you did get a deeper look because it was, really based on Afeni Shakur. Mostly, you could, see her influence and impact in his life, and before he became, thug life and all of that, like
Mhm.
how he grew up and the circumstances of that, and her being on drugs and all those things. And just, I mean, I already had a lot of respect for him, and definitely 27 years later. So when Tupac died or was killed, I was 15 years old. So he seemed like, this old dude.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, OMG, at the age I am now, it's like he did so much in that
25.
little bit of time. And we're still talking about it
Mhm. Yeah,
27
and I
years
think
from that.
25. He was 25, and Big was 24. Like
Yeah.
that's
They were
crazy.
kids.
And I
They
do
were
always
kids.
wonder what would they be today, right?
Mm.
I'm yeah, I'm almost certain Tupac would be canceled
Oh,
uh if he were alive today.
They cancel him. He wouldn't care. That's the crazy part. He wouldn't even care.
Yeah. But we don't know. We don't know what his evolution could have been. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's true.
We saw how he evolved from, background dancer to, digital.
Well, I'm saying if he was still doing things that would get him canceled today, I don't think he would care. Now, if he had evolved to the point where, he's now Pac, then
he would be what? He'd be 52 right now.
Yeah, he'd be.
Yeah, he'd have.
What you say, Mom?
Paul Pac is just, you're taking it too far.
Paul Pac. That's what he is.
Paul Pac.
Yeah.
Oh, the way we went on free exhibit. Yeah, it's interesting to think about both of them. Definitely. Because Biggs, does either any of Biggs' kids have kids? I don't know. I don't think so.
We don't see Biggs' kids much, to be honest.
Yeah. I think Tiana's like 30 or so. It's something crazy. And I was like, oh my Lord, But yeah, it's interesting to think about. But shout out to Justice, even if it takes a million years. We'll continue to kind of keep our eyes on it. But I think everybody was like, what? Even when I heard the news, I was like, I thought we already knew who killed him. It was just like, I don't understand what this is about. But he was in the car and according to him, passed the weapon to the person that actually shot him. And I don't know why he would have that.
Imagine if Pac is really still alive and dude is just in jail.
Or he come out of hiding like, Pac long enough.
Pac go visit him. What's up, man? Yeah, I'd be mad. They still don't let him out. But yeah, so I'm interested to see how this all plays out. He's already in jail. He ain't gonna see the light of day. They don't care nothing about him. And I think a lot of the world has reconciled Pac's death already, before this arrest. So that'll be real interesting to see. And another thing, y'all, stop going on Vlad interviews and because if you even listen into the line of questioning, Vlad was like, "Oh, so you hacked the gun and then you basically coursing
leading you into
right." And these cats, and when he chops these interviews and everything else, it's hard for me to believe that a lot of these people is just sitting there saying the way the narrative is spun with these, why this dude, you just come and pour your guts out, and notice this, you never see Vlad.
I was going to say, I don't even know what he looks like. I know his voice, but I have no idea.
He's white. He's full white. So
the wizard. What's going on?
Yeah.
Big bro.
What's going on?
It's so good to see you.
So subscribe and like. That's Shannon's way of telling us to tell people to hit the like button too.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Hit the like button. Look, I'm not above learning. We learn every single day. So don't just subscribe, but also hit the like button. Thanks, it helps, and we want it to help. We appreciate you.
All right, that's called when Shan, you know how to read between the lines too.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, he stayed teaching us. But in other news, I'm gonna let you bring this one in.
Oh, yeah, the one he wanted it to be real fast. He didn't want us to really talk about it. He's like, let's go ahead and get this out the way.
Yes. That one.
On Saturday. Saturday, the USC Trojans visited the University of Colorado Buffaloes. And so, we have been following, in all seriousness, the season of the Buffs and Coach Prime, right? And we really have been cheering them on and hoping for the best, and in Miss Angela's case, praying for the best. And I was on record as saying, I wish you the best every day except September 30th. I'm not interested in your best. As a matter of fact, don't bring it. But they did bring their best, and I'm still proud of them. The young men, definitely Coach Prime and that coaching staff, or whatever. I don't know if it was plays or motivation or a combination of both. But I do believe if there was more time on the clock, and definitely we had another quarter, that might have gone a different way. So shout out to the Buffs, but also a win is a win is a win is a win. And shout out to the USC Trojans
And shout
for
out to
being
you
so dominant.
You've been really big about this. That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. For those who don't know, Dre's not hating. She is an alumni of the University of Spoiled
No
Children.
hate, not at all.
No, it's not. It's not hate. Well,
No
that's
hate.
what we call it. Look, you couldn't be broke going to that school.
Exactly. I paid money. Okay, paying money.
You could not be broke going to that school. So
I'm not rooting against them. That's for doggone sure.
Right. Not for that much. But no, SC was an experience, and for students and then people like me.
And adjacent students, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Trojan adjacent. So
those were the days.
Listen, if I didn't have the integrity that I do in most aspects of my life, I would be moonlighting as a Trojan. I mean, everybody thought I went there anyway. So I say it all the time. No, I didn't go to USC. I used to go up to USC. Right?
And I'm glad you did, because that's why we're here today.
That's why we're here today. If I didn't go up to USC,
that's true.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, so fight on.
Fight on. With the wrists. You gotta get
You see, I was doing it because I was actually indifferent about this week because I support SC outside of any other time, so I wasn't rooting against them. It was like it was going back and forth. I just wanted to see a good game, and it did turn out to be a good game. They both need to work on them defenses, but Coach Prime did say something very important. Well, he said it the last 2 weeks. After the Oregon game, he did say, y'all better beat us now because this is the worst that we're going to get. And they're already good.
He did say that.
And then this week, he was like, if y'all don't see what's coming in the next few months, right? So the turnaround that he's already made with this program, the culture that he's already built, not just with the program, but with the institution, recruiting and the transfer portal is what people are waiting on. And it's going to be crazy, And once they get some size up front, some protection for Shador and some of them big boys that's been going to the SEC and these other schools, it's over. And that's what these coaches are really scared of. You are not about to beat Prime in recruiting.
Can't do it.
You're not. I have a friend of mine. Her son he's a junior this year. He's already signed with Colorado as a receiver, right? So Prime is out here doing work, and it's like playing for Prime is like buying Jordans, right? So when I used to work at Foot Locker, we had posters in the stock room that says you can't sell a Jordan, right? Like you got to sell the accessories, People are going to come in, and when they want Jordans, they already know what they want when they come in there. You ain't got to sell it, right? It sells itself. And that's what he's building in that program. The program sells itself. Like other coaches have to go seek out good players and convince them why they should go to their school. Players are seeking out Prime to go play for his school, right. And that's going to be like the major difference. And that's what I'm excited to see is the work that's coming in the future. So like I said, they still playing with house money. They've already won 100% more games than they did last year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And they still above 500.
And I'm just looking for them to stomp UCLA. So
and that's quite plausible.
Just stampede. Do what you got to do.
So you want 2 wins this year. The crazy part is the UCLA coaching job is only predicated on 1 game every year. Like, as soon as I don't know how many coaches, as soon as they lost to SC, they was fired.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like Carl Durrell, was it New Heisel, whatever. Both of them
It's
coaches back
pretty
in the day.
serious. It's pretty serious on both sides. But yeah, you
It's
have one job. Especially if your season is trash, right? Like if you don't have a chance of winning, Pac-12 championship or going beyond that, it's just like as long as we win the crosstown rivalry, you feel better about yourself. However, USC is currently undefeated, and so we do have a chance at the championship. So I just want us to continue, but we do have things to work on. To your
yeah,
point,
defense
defense is
trash.
atrocious. I don't.
Let's call it what it is, trash.
Yeah,
Atrocious sounds better.
atrocious.
Oh,
It's
my okay,
atrocious.
atrocious. Abysmal.
When it costs that much,
Abysmal.
you need to have some. Yeah, you need some more expensive
Right.
words. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alexa, give me synonyms for atrocious.
Synonyms for atrocious meaning outrageous, widely condemned, include scandalous, rotten, or heinous. For the
Rotten.
Damn, I like that one.
Dreadful, horrid, or terrible.
She's still going.
She's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Or terrible. Terrible in the word.
horrid.
Terrible. It's just
It was
terrible.
horrid.
Terrible.
Mhm.
So yeah, shout out to USC's offense.
Absolutely. And the young boy Caleb chasing his second straight Heisman.
Who was the last person to do that? I wonder. We have to look.
Is there
that
anyone
one.
who's done it?
I think they said one, but I don't. You know what? Let's do some fact checking.
I know. Like I'm over your fact checking.
Or I can ask old girl right here.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
that's why she's there. Go ahead.
Oh, girl.
Alexa, has anyone won 2 Heisman trophies in a row?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, yes. Archie Griffin of Ohio State is the only player to receive the Heisman Trophy twice, winning it as a junior in 1974 and as a senior in 1975. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thanks, sis. We appreciate
Thanks for
you.
your feedback.
Okay. So yeah, so one other person, Archie Griffin. Shout out to you, Archie, wherever you are, or your
I ain't
family.
gonna shout him out. I don't know if he racist or not.
Okay. Well, shout out to the history that was made.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So we'll see if it's gonna be done.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, moving along.
Moving along.
Fight on. You got this one. But let the record reflect the Broncos win this week.
Oh, good for y'all, because I know it was a tough week.
Oh, wow. Wait, hold on. Archie Griffin is 69 years old. He played 7 seasons for Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh,
Okay.
oh
Are
he's
we
black. He went out.
Ah, yeah, shut up, Archie Griffin. Shut up.
I would live Barzini. That's why let me just.
There you go.
Shut up to Archie.
That's all I needed. All right, Arch.
Now Archie is back to being a real.
Big Arch.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on, no, you got to put some bass in your voice. Yeah. Shut out to Archie. I ain't know Archie. I'm probably gonna get talked about like how you didn't know that.
Yeah, I had never heard of him either, but
It's all good. It's all good. So what we got in
thank you for
entertainment
that.
this week?
Entertainment. Nelly and Ashanti, of course, we know have been we call it what, the double back. And so, for those of you who don't know, and I don't imagine that that's anybody, but just in case, Nelly and Ashanti dated starting around 2003, or at least we started to see them linked to one another. Reportedly dated for about 10 years and then went Splitsville. And then now 10 years later, they're back in the saddle. And, what I thought was really interesting, we started to see some memes and different things this week about the fact that, people feel like Nelly has already wasted Ashanti's good years in that first stint, and now he's doing it again. So just generally, when we think about relationships and dating, and for folks that are dating to marry, like, should there be time parameters? Should you just go with the flow? How long is too long?
I got a
Are your
question.
good years being wasted?
Right. So why is it this? Why is it every time somebody's together for a prolonged period of time, the narrative is he is wasting her time?
I think it's because of the procreation bit. I think it's more about, the woman having a limited amount of time to bear children. What do you think, Miss Angela?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is it. Our time is being wasted. Our energy is being wasted. Okay.
So-
Our intellect is being wasted. Okay.
I would
And Jill
drive
Scott.
that-
No, I was going to say,
Oh.
Jasmine was saying, Jill Scott said 6 months only, don't wait. We actually saw that this week as well.
Listen,
So
you can
Jill
give me
Scott
6
said,
months- you can give me 6 months with Jill, and I'm gonna make it count. Look,
Listen.
even if I don't get to 6 months in one day, we gonna look. I got 6 months. We gonna do it. We doing 6 months.
Bishop Omer says in 1 year, if you don't know your wedding date, stop. Don't pause and leave.
Yeah, I'm not with none of that. Like,
yeah. Well, if I did that, I wouldn't be married. So I
Men are
can't
such
really
decision makers. You're such decision makers. You decide, and then all of a sudden you can't decide. That's not it. You won't decide. You won't decide. I don't think you should get married in 1 year. I don't think 1 year is enough. I don't think
people mistake not proposing or setting a date as not making a decision. He has decided we're not getting married yet. Or
okay, all right.
That's still a decision.
Okay, so but it's okay to make a decision that you're not going to marry someone in 1 year or 1 day. The problem is you need to notify the other person. So you keep it as a secret. All the guys know, your boys know you're not going to do it. The neighbor knows, the mailman knows. I'm just saying, could you let her know? Because if you let her know, you know why? You don't want her to let you know. That's the problem.
Well, here's the thing. If and I always stand on this. Don't
Please
just to me. If you can tell me everything else you want, if that's what you want, then say that, right? So we get stuck in traditionalism, and I get it. We got traditions and cultures and blah 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 blah. You can propose, and since you're not going to propose, then be patient. Or if you're not going to be patient, then walk away. You got options. Everyone's adults. So don't
with that.
So because the thing is, if we saying he ain't decided, nor have you, if you sticking around for it, then you've also made a decision. So rock with your decision. And
no. Here's what we're gonna rock with. This is how we rock. We're gonna rock, and we're not talking about Michael Jackson. Let me tell you how we're gonna rock. The thing is, in the mind of a woman, unfortunately, we played this whole thing out. See, men compartmentalize it's like all up in here, but we sort of play it out like 10 steps, 20 steps, 20 weeks, whatever. We look for plus equals this plus equals, or if we double down on this, this is the result. And that is not the way we should do. The problem is, and I say this as being a person who was raised in that era, in that time it's sort of a matter of self-worth. What are you worth if no one else wants you? How could you just want yourself? How could you just decide that you wanted education or a career, or you wanted to be a philanthropist and just, pour your time into someone less fortunate that wants to help you? You want to make a mark when you leave this world. There's nothing wrong with that. But women are often labeled like there's something wrong with you if no one has, said, hey, I want her, or she belongs to me. It's a part of value or self-worth. But women these days, fortunately, are in a position, because of how things are done as far as like the internet and all the information that's out there, they're able to make a decision as to what they want to do, and they're able to be self-supporting. Now, we're not going to get into how much money we don't make. We're the CEO, he's the COO, but more men will get the lunch invitation with the COO and then let him tell the CEO what happened. It happens in America all the time. It happens all the time. So I'm just saying, I don't think no 1 year. That's just what Bishop. I was just reporting. But I'm 100% with you. If you want him, open your mouth and say so. But remember, words is something you can't take back. So if you say, this is how it's going to be, and he says, okay, I'm with that, it's a done deal.
Right.
And so we need to remember that.
Yeah, I think, and just on either side, me personally, it's no such thing on this is how it's going to be. It's we don't come together and talk about what we both want and see if we want the same things, right? And so, and tell me your thoughts on this. So there was an article, Maisha actually shared this article with me. And it was talking about like the mindsets of women versus men and everything else. I found it to be true in my experience. Women have their life planned out and then plug a man into it, right? Like, this is what I want. And then I'm trying to find a man that fits something that I've already created, right? And a lot of times men will get the bad rap when that's not the narrative, that wasn't the narrative for our life. Like, we have our own narrative because, like you said, we compartmentalize. Men live moment to moment. You see what I mean? And so there's a question that often goes around social media, like, oh, what's the perfect first date question? And my answer is always, would you like to go on a second date? Right? People are all, oh, what is this? And what's your 5 years? And blah, blah, blah. I just want to know about tomorrow, right? I want to string a whole bunch of todays together into a future. I'm not thinking about you 5 years, 10 years from now on the first day. I'm like, we're essentially proposing on hello. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you. I don't know what I want with you. And so this narrative, oh, men know what they want within such and such a time. There's a lot of situations when we become monoliths when it comes to what women want, right? Oh, well, a man knows this and a man, no, we don't. We're all human beings. We're all people. You see what I'm saying? And so now it's men are hunter gatherers. We're decisive. We're this, we're that. When it's about what you want, right? But then if it's something that you don't agree with us, or when we're telling you about us, it's, oh, well, all men ain't the same, right? And we wait for that one dude that says something different so people can be like, see, I told you, you know. And the reality is, no, women are different, men are different. Yes, there are some certain things biologically or certain ways that we think in general, but nothing is absolute, right? And I think we get away from doing what's best for those two people and ignoring the traditions, the preachers, the social media and all that stuff. And what's going to be best for your household with these two people? What works for us? Are we going to wait? Because sometimes we mess up a good thing trying to push a narrative. I had a homeboy one time. He and his well, they weren't married. They were living together. They had kids. They had a whole life together. And she was always on his head about being married. Essentially, they were already married. So he got tired of her in the mouth. They argue. He pulls over to the courthouse in the middle of the argument, goes in there, pays $75, does the paperwork. They get married, get in the car. He turns to her and says, you feel different now? Right? Like, what changed? You know? And this is me. I'm saying this as having never been married. So, you know, caveat. But I'm just saying, like, why do we push a narrative? Because in my opinion, society or our religious beliefs or whatever, they just tell us that that's what we're supposed to do.
Well, I feel like this. First of all, if it's a religious belief, then that's what we stand on, first of all. But here's the thing. On your first date, on your second date, on your fifth date, do you say, I do not want to get married. I don't have a plan to get married. If it happens, it happens. Maybe it'll happen with you and maybe it won't. Do you come out and say that? Do you say on your first, second, or third day, like, I don't want to get married. I don't want to be married. I don't have any plans for marriage. I think time is always on the man's side. I think men, time is your winner. You're the boss when it comes to time.
Well, that's predicated on childbirth, though. Like, what at this age, I'm not dating women who are having kids, right? Like, so that part is out the window. So what's the race for? What's the race against time, right? She's either had her kids or the kids is grown, empty nesters. Like, that's the age bracket that I'm dating in.
Okay. So it's not about children. It's not about children. So now it's about, it's right now, then it's about well, what can I say? Ownership. It's about companionship. It's about you're mine, I'm yours. I mean, that's really what it's about. And so nobody wants to be like, well, because people just come and say, well, who is he? Well, he's my man. He's my guy.
My friend.
He's my friend, my bud. Oh, we just go out together.
I'm all of that. I'm all of that.
I'm just saying, because it's okay. That's what you're willing to settle for. All I'm asking is, are you actually saying that? Are you actually saying, look, we are just a date younger. There you go. Are you actually saying, no, I don't want to do any of that? If that's what you want to do, I'm the wrong person.
On the first date, I'm asking, what's your favorite color? What's your
favorite food? Well, forget kind of places a little later on. Let's give you 30 days. When do you do the big reveal? When is that?
So the thing is, it's situational. Like, you may just turn out to be somebody I like kicking it with. All of that marriage talk that early on is for what? Let me get to know you as a person. Let me see who you are. I don't even know if I like spending time with you, let alone revealing what I want. Plus, this is what I've learned. You don't know what you want. And I speak for men until she comes, right? You might have a plan. You might say, no, I ain't never getting married, or I want to get married. I'm gonna get married one day. But it depends on who you deal with. There could be a woman that come and change all of that. Right.
Okay. But what if she doesn't come? Do you tell the people you're not her?
They'll find out.
No, see? That's there you go.
The thing is, you know if you heard.
I just asked, do you tell? Because see, you're very free at saying what you're saying now. And I'm just saying, the woman who's got empty nesters, the woman who's already had her kid, she's not on a time. Then when you meet these other people, do you say, you're wonderful. It's not you, it's me. Do you say that?
I don't say anything. My thing is this: if I'm not moving forward with you, if I don't say anything that's forward moving, it ain't you. Like if you're not the one getting the calls, or like that's just.
Well, you need to just so she needs to make a decision, draw her own timeline, whether you know about it or not, right? Okay.
Well, that's so because the thing is, again, I'm not with putting it on one person or the other, because as much as we hear and read, strong, independent, we know we a step ahead. Okay, if you're a step ahead, then you should have known you wasn't the one before I did.
That's so rude.
Look,
that's so rude. That's pretty rude.
And so we're talking about right now. You're talking about early in the development, but it's been in the example. It's been 10 years, right? Like
10 years.
We're back on Nelly.
10 years. We're back on Nelly and Ashanti. It's been 10 years.
Mom was like, 10 years. I'm with you right there, Mom. Like,
I was trying to bring us back to the example.
Go ahead. Nelly. Okay, go ahead.
It's been 10 years.
Okay.
You then have a 10-year break, which the majority has been with another woman. So Miss Jackson got 8 years? I don't know. And now you're back again. Mm-hmm. Is he just I'm not getting married? Is it something that he's still looking for in this time? Like what is happening in all this time?
Well, let's ask Barzini. I mean, is it pride? Is it
why are we assuming
because he has no pride, right? There's no pride.
Why are we assuming it's him though? Why are
we I'm asking because you're speaking for all the men. I'm just saying.
But we're asking the question, assuming that he's the one that went and spun the block. We don't know that it wasn't her that came back and said, "Hey, what's up?"
Well, we could sort of look at the clues, like.
Regale us with the clues, Mom.
I hate to let people know what I know, but I don't know. I'm gonna say this. I don't know why I know it. I just happen to know it. I don't know. Somebody said. Somebody told it.
I have heard.
But I don't know this man's name, but he's rather large. And he said they were having this show, And Nelly wanted to be it when he heard Ashanti. Who's the big
Fat
guy?
Joe.
There you go. The big man said that. He said, no, he found out Ashanti was it. Then he goes over there after the show and runs over there, makes his way over there. It wasn't part of the script. He was east and west because that's where they belong. But he ran on over there. And she even said, I caught her off guard. Okay. So we can look at that. And here's one thing. I didn't recognize that the reason there's no Miss Jackson, it was COVID. And they got a chance to be home, not home and go, home and I'll meet you here. No, but actually home. She talked about how he left the water bottles here and he didn't do this because there wasn't like maid service. Like we were together. And, you know, that made him think like you're not the one. I'm not talking forward anymore. Okay. So as soon as COVID opened up, he went on the road and sent her on the road. See how it went? He went on the road and he sent her down the road. So
see how time is important before you start rushing?
I'm just saying, but look, so now he's able to think about this never was like that when I was home with that one. He just wanted to be home. He don't want to be home alone. So there you go.
No. And very few of us do, but sometimes it's a lot of times it's that thing that is time, right?
Men have all the time. That's all there is to it.
But yeah, but
I respect it.
We
because
don't.
time is important.
Yeah,
but I think communication as well. Right. Like
that's
while the time is passed.
Somebody just turn the light on so she can see that it's not you.
Well, I'll say this. The reason why I say a lot of the things that I say or bring up certain arguments, because accountability is my love language, right? And we shift so much of the blame on one side to fit a particular narrative when there's two people in this, right? And so in so many different narratives, like if we were to describe male and female traits, if you describe male traits, the majority of them will be negative, right? Or when women start doing certain things that appear to be negative, they say, oh, you acting like a dude, or that's masculine trait. Like masculine traits tend to be on the negative side, right? But if you start to exhibit certain signs that are eccentrically positive, it's female traits. Like if a man is sensitive and empathetic or something like that, oh, he's soft. That's you a woman. You would be acting like a female. Like we're not
positive, is it?
Being sensitive and empathetic, I think that's positive. Like, what's wrong?
But if somebody calls you soft or a simp, that's not positive.
Exactly, but no. So they're taking those traits, like being sensitive or being empathetic and everything else, and start calling you soft and a simp. Start making it a negative thing because you have positive traits, like saying it's for a female. What I'm saying is it's attributed to being female, and a man being female is being negative, right? So at the end of the day, if both people are taking accountability right now, it could very well be Nelly was like, hey, I didn't know what I had when I had it, and I'm trying to circle back and get it. That could very well be it's happened, right? I've had that experience too. Like, I should have married her. You know, you're, and in his case, I think it's even more amplified because you have fame and wealth, right? So his access early on, even before social media, was like, you was Nelly, you know, all the women loved him. Oh, he's so fine. This and everything else. So as fine as Ashanti is, which is why I'm salty about them getting back together in the first place, it's like I had a shot, right? But
I just think it's funny.
Yeah, but no, it's kind of like, man, we had a good thing. I don't know how it ended. I don't know who ended it, right? But he made the decision. I'm 10 years later. He might have been waiting 10 years and found the opportunity to go back, right? And so rather than treat that as a negative, when we say, oh, well, men know what they want, he know what he want, right? So should he not circle back and try to get it? And clearly she was with it. Maybe she missed him too. Maybe they both knew they missed the opportunity, and maybe they're each other's person and were mature enough to try it again, because pride so many times gets in the way of people making that decision to circle back, right? And I would venture to say and challenge me on this, that part is usually mostly women. When dudes try to come back and get you, I ain't about to be.
Oh my gosh, you should stop. So you were almost going good, and then you just messed that up.
What I tell you,
my God.
right?
You
What I
were
tell
going
you.
good. You were going good. You messed it up.
No,
You know,
so
yeah, because see, you got this whole thing of the point is, if you sort of look back, again, I don't know why I know this. If you look back on your relationship, you never, a matter of fact, there was an interview where Nelly challenged the person to find one time any radio, TV interview where Ashanti said they were together. Just find it. So
I don't feel like either one of them did.
now, who's doing all the talking? He is. So, I mean, whoever said, come on, let's get back together. I mean, it's okay. I think they make a nice looking couple, and hey, I hope they can be happy. It's no problem. I just,
time now.
No, because she's got all the time. She's making the time. It's okay. If this is what she's decided to do, it's okay. But I'm just saying, before she said she was planning on a home with him, those were things that they planned. They made plans together. Okay. Even after they broke up, she had this whole CD where you promised to have a life with me. She has it's very detailed. So
yeah.
Again, I don't know why I know this, but these are just things I heard. So bottom line, this time, she knows if she's back with them.
Well, he's on record as saying the pressure is off. So I don't know if they've discussed with each other, like, we not gonna do it, or we just gonna let it go as it goes. But
they're not in the spotlight, really. But now I will say this about time. And pressure, especially for a young man. Forever is a long time, right? And when you think about one woman, like we finna be in this, like this is it. That is hard for a lot of young men. You get older and you done tasted life and you done had these experiences and stuff like that. You realize, like, man, look, it ain't a whole lot out here. Find you a good one and stick with her, because this is pretty much what it's gonna be like. And that's what old men will tell young men. But young men, they got to find out for themselves. Like, I don't know, because we're driven so much by what we see when we're young. It doesn't really change much when we're older. We're just our decisions. When you get older, you're still driven by what you see, but there has to be a deeper dive, because that's not all the thing that matters. When you're young, she can be whatever as long as she look good most times, and then she drive you crazy and you become a jaded old man. So. Yeah. She's like, yeah, see.
Then you become a sick old man, and then you want somebody to be your constant companion. You see,
it's not a perfect world, Mama. I can't speak.
Sorry. Listen, I thought it wasn't.
And look, and that's when you call Medicaid and make sure you got somebody that can advocate.
This is what I'm saying. So when it's time for Medicaid and push you up and down the road, then it's companionship. How about when you could walk down the road together? How about when there was an opportunity to be, making choices and talking and just making decisions? Now, the decision is made. Your decision was made not to take care of yourself, and then you want me to decide to take care of you. I'm not with it.
No. Wow. Like, well, look, it's out there. It's out there. So for the women that are watching,
you don't hear me arguing with that one.
This is the response.
That's kind of the game.
So when you are making your decisions, just remember that.
Moral of the story: get you a man that's still walking.
The moral of the story is go to the doctor with that man, get those lab tests, and verify he's still going to be walking.
Right. Now, okay, so on a more serious note too, especially with dating and I was out with the fellas at the football game Sunday, and we started having this conversation. And so I do get hormone replacement therapy, and I was talking to the nurse practitioner about this. So I asked her how many black men come through the clinic. She said a few, but not many. Men in general, we don't like talking about health or health issues and everything else. Women are typically are more open with that. Y'all talk to each other and y'all go to the doctor and got all the appointments. And in much of our communication or our life, if we don't talk about it, nothing's wrong, right? If there's nothing to talk about, then nothing's wrong. And we don't want to go to the doctor because we don't want to know what's wrong, because if we find out what's wrong, then it's real.
That's right.
You know.
Okay.
So it is, so that's speaking to the narrative, like, hey, you get sick and now you want somebody to take care of you. But you see a lot of men getting sick because along the way we don't find out what's going on with us until it's too late. It's like, it's just a little egg, it's just a little scratch, it's just a little rash, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ignore it until it can't be ignored anymore, because it's affecting something, like especially when it start affecting, you know what I'm saying, the reproductive system. Right.
It's the only thing that sends you to the doctor.
Actually. Usually, right? Now, anything can go wrong. You see a scratch, bump, dry skin, something up. No, doc, I need. we can't.
Emergency room. Emergency room.
Yeah. We can't live life like that. And it is unfortunate that we do that. But I was talking to my boys about that. And also, there's not a lot of comfortable, safe spaces. And this is not a man-woman thing. Like, even amongst men, there's just certain things that you don't talk about, right? We can talk sports, we can talk women, we can talk all this other stuff. But when we start talking about our bodies, like, hey, bro, like, I don't need to know that. I don't want to, right? And so we need to become more comfortable in talking about that. We do need to be more proactive in knowing what's going on with our body, especially as we age. And I've said this before, it's about, you have to love the people in your life enough to take care of yourself, because you matter to more than just you.
Amen.
And you don't want to be a burden on your family, right? Like, if you do have a woman that you're with, or married to, or even your kids, right? Like, you don't, and certain things, like, just as you age, you can't help it, but do all that you can. Right. And not just physically by knowing, but like planning, knowing, like having an estate, having this stuff. So if the time comes to where you can't care for yourself, your family knows where the paperwork is. Your family knows who to call. Somebody is in charge of everything, instead of families fighting over who's got the clout and who's the highest ranked and who's going to make the decisions and all this other stuff, because it can get really messy, you know, especially when if you have an inheritance or a will. Take care of your affairs early on, and to also, and I'm gonna put my daddy on blast right now. He might not like it. I don't know if he's watching, but do it early on, right? My father, again, I have a diluted perspective of aging, right? My father is 71, 72, right?
You just putting all his business.
Yeah, no, he wears it with pride because he doesn't look it, right?
Okay. I was just like,
no, he's still very young, spry, energetic, exercises, like he looks great for set. But that's my perspective of 71. But then I see other 71-year-olds, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And there's nothing wrong. They're 71. Like, that's what 71 you like. He's an outlier. But when we're talking about, like, you know, your will and life insurance and blah blah blah, I was like, you have to make sure that you get that in place before you have any pre-existing conditions. Like, before you get sick, you have to have that stuff in order, because it's going to be harder to get, and you won't get coverage, you know, or great coverage if you got all this going on, because you're higher risk. And these are conversations that we don't typically have, because his thing was, ain't nothing about to happen to me. I'm like, you 71, bro. Like, as much as I love you, you got less years in front of you than behind. Like,
what are you talking about your friends? Why are you down in the dad? What happened to the homies?
I told them to go to the clinic. But what I'm saying is, as I'm talking men in general, I told the homies, like, you need to know what's going on with your body. Go get your testosterone check. Go get this check. Go get that check. Have your insurance, have your paperwork. Know what's going on with your body. You're not going to live forever. And if you want to live longer, you have to be informed on what's going on with your body and how your body works and what's affecting your body. So we don't end up decrepit and having depending on somebody to take care of us.
Well, why do you think the average man does not go to the doctor? Why do you think they don't go? It's not because they don't have the medical card in their wallet. Why don't they go?
Because we don't want to know. Because
you don't want to know. I think that if you were really depressed, someone said you're going to get this much money if you go to the doctor. They don't even know where the doctor is. They don't know who's on the card. They don't have any idea of what their what kind of insurance they have. Now this is really something that we're not we work on as fathers and sons and brothers, because you all don't want to be told and nagged. And if we say when you're young man, you go to the doctor, you want to play this sport, you got to go. You're getting the shot, you're doing whatever. And then all of a sudden, nobody is directing you that this is what this paper needs to be signed. Mm-hmm. But when we grow up, it is mandated for the rest of your life. Yeah, you are going to the doctor. You are seeing this, but and so it's just really a different way to be raised. And I think that men, of course, they don't want to know, but really what you don't want to know is like, it's the end. You want to know,
exactly.
I can do this, but you have an opportunity. There's always an opportunity.
But is it that they don't want to know? Because most times you probably feel something or you see something. So but is it that you don't want to know, or is it you don't want to change what you have to change?
All of that, because once you give it a name, it becomes real, and now you have to do stuff. Also,
just minimize it. Just put it on
but you can't. So also, the way that our brain works is different than yours. As we know, women are far more detail oriented. We're big picture, right? So the way we think, I got insurance. Oh, I got life insurance. Oh, I got coverage. Like what? Whereas women don't
you just go to each other like there's MD behind all of y'all's name, and this one said, well, this is what I did, and you get the advice from them, and then you sort of mediate, like, is that something I can't do like at CVS, or do I actually really have to go make an appointment? Like, that's not really necessary. And then you grow up with these remedies, and I'm a real man, and men suffer, and it's not that bad.
No, it's not that deep. We're just not detailed.
It's deep. It's
so what I mean is this: like y'all,
I know how deep it is. It's really deep.
Y'all are far more detail oriented, right? I still call somebody about benefits. Like, what does this mean? I don't like. It's just too many words. It's
too many words.
Like, we don't want to be bothered with the details and stuff. What's the big picture? How much I got to pay? What to cover? Right? Like, it's the way our brain works. It's a lot. We don't want all the questions, and once we say this, and then you asking us questions, and we don't like a whole bunch of questions. Now we got to think, and we don't.
Okay, so listen to this. We're detail oriented, and there's something wrong with you, and we make sure it gets fixed. Mm-hmm. You don't want to hear a lot of stuff. Something's wrong with us, and you bury us. What about that? No, he clicked the glass.
He's back with. That's y'all cross the bear.
I didn't make the rules.
It's okay. I just wanted to bring that to the light. That's all. I just wanted to bring it to the light.
I get it. I'm not saying it makes.
I'm just saying this it happens so many times.
The women we have to.
The women live, and you get them back, and then.
Hey, ain't y'all say y'all was the nurturers? Don't we hear that all the time?
Wait a minute.
Aren't you the protectors?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, protect us with information, with knowledge, with details.
Yeah. Look, protect me by protecting yourself.
Listen,
that sounds worth it.
We got protection. It's called benefits. It's called coverage. We bought coverage.
And that's just like having $1 million in the bank and you don't know the account number. It doesn't matter that you have coverage. What are you covering?
Wait, they can just say you're the COO. I've always agreed with that. If I'm the CEO, I'm providing it. You the COO. You know how it operates. Like, how does it work?
All
Here's
this
the
to
thing.
say, whoever you're in a relationship with, y'all better have defined your roles and know who's
God.
responsible for what.
And
Because
to whoever I end up with, your job is gonna be the details of the benefits, because that is not my ministry. Like, mom, I'm gonna be calling you. Hey, what this mean?
well, you know what? And I can appreciate that. If somebody says, I don't know, can you help me with this? At least
Yeah.
you own what you don't know and
Right.
you're trying to seek
But
some
but
assistance.
I would say this, and this is on a serious note. I know we talked about that, but that was actually a downfall for me in one of my previous relationships, right? Allowing her to do what she does and understanding like what her strength is and letting her operate in that strength, which was like the details, right? And so, mom, to give you context, that's when I was bad with money, and I'm just stuff getting cut off and blah 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 blah. And she was like, "Babe, why don't you give me your check and let me pay your bills? I'm a man. I don't need all that. I don't need no one pay my bills. I'm a grown ass man." Da, 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 right?
Wow.
All right. And so what I didn't understand at the time was she is trying to be my partner. And that's the thing that I value the most now in looking for the most is partnership, right?
Mm.
She was trying to be my partner. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that as a man, I don't have to be strong in everything, right? Allow like, hey, if she say she got this, let her get it. It's cool. That's less work for me, actually. And then the parts where she weak, I got that part. I didn't get it. So a lot of times when we're talking about this stuff and the details and stuff like that, that is where a lot of women actually just excel, right? Like we're just as in general, we are not good at that part, right? And so, and that's where the narrative is like, you don't want to die alone. You need somebody to take care of you, because that's where women come in. Like, look, I got it. Where's the we don't, you know what I mean? Like y'all are.
Did you hear what you said? Did you hear what you just said?
What?
I don't want to die alone, and that's where you women come in.
I said that's what people say. I don't want to die alone. I'm on record saying that. But
you're speaking for the men. I'm just trying to make sure they understood what you said. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, we did it. Okay, look, y'all want some game from men? You want me to tell y'all what our superpower is? You've been around here longer than I had. You know, you had a.
I just want to make sure I understood what you said. That's all.
Playing dumb or being dumb in some cases is our superpower, right? Because you're gonna get sick of it and take it over anyway.
Okay. I got you.
And in the reverse, because I'm sure women do the same thing.
Oh, y'all do. The reverse is when y'all do the damsel thing. Like, oh my God, I don't know how to fix this. Can you put this together for me? You're so strong. Hey. Now, when you were single, you was building down beds and dressers and everything else without me.
Right. Now IKEA instructions and no words.
Right. Now it's like you can't do nothing no more. You know. So we both do it.
Well, I communicated that out the gate when I was dating. Hey, these are the things I no longer like to. I would like to resign from these duties, please.
Hey,
I'll pick up some new ones, but I don't want these no more.
Hey, and y'all had an understanding, and he's with it, and that's all that matters. What y'all decided. But I think when we get closer to erasing these templates, like, oh, you're the woman, you're supposed to do this, and you're the man, you're supposed to do it. I just feel like that's where we go so wrong. And Mom, I want to ask you this question before we sign up. Just answer me this question, right? Because
try
from the baby boomer generation perspective, a baby boomer woman, right?
Yes. Okay.
We often hear Gen X and millennials and all this other say, oh, why are we're not like our grandparents? Marriage and relationships ain't like our grandparents. We always skip the baby boomer generation. And I always said, I was like, because baby boomer women taught their daughters different, right? Or no, what was the generation before baby boomers? What do they call them?
Silent.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
I was like,
that is well for teaching, does it?
Yeah.
But no, like but we romanticize our grandparents, But if our grandparents' marriages and relationship in life was so great, then why did they teach their daughters different, right? We went from our grandparents to independence because that's what we see more of, right? And so,
Well, a lot of
so you
times,
like you can take it from there.
but a lot of times, well, in those silent years, that's basically what women were. It was like you get married and then you help raise children and, for the farm, for whatever it was, whatever his drive was, you helped him achieve. And then when they had daughters, well, by then it was more of the daughters could be educated. So they had an opportunity. So you taught them to what they were to do as women, but you also gave them a glimpse like you can make another choice. And so that's when you start having more women in the workforce and women rights and what we want and what we, and then and a lot of that got lost. It's like, if I have to cook, then I'm like a servant, like let me not do it or something like that. But, it's really a personal choice. I didn't ever have a problem of cooking and all the other stuff because my husband like treated me like a queen. Like I could not ask. We go to the shoe store. I was trying to get one shoe. Like what other colors? It was excessive. A lot of stuff. Like and so, I mean, I was super, super blessed, but so was he. So was he. He never had to wonder like, did she pay the bills? Is this going to go on or what's going to happen or look up and somebody's taking it. He never worried about
a big
that.
piece of chicken. No.
Oh, great. Yeah, he was the biggest piece. And then all of a sudden one day he was eating the same piece as the kids were, like what happened? What? It got a different taste.
Because the big piece is symbolic.
Right. That's why he grew up with that. Because he had lots of brothers and sisters, they were fighting over a little piece of chicken. It was lots of them. Okay.
Right.
But the thing is, like, each generation is trying to enhance both their boys and their girls. But you also want, unfortunately, it's like, what if for whatever reason she's walking down the yellow brick road and then he just decides, I don't want to walk with you anymore. And all she knows is that road. If that's happened to the grandmother and to the mother, then now it's a whole new situation. It won't happen to her because I'm going to steer her on a different path. And so now it looks like that wasn't any good. It was good. But also those people, happy or unhappy, they died together. Now it's like, oh, I don't want you no more. Just come home. This is a done deal. And so now what happens to her? And that's why things got, changed a little bit. But for the most part, we still want to be, happy, detail oriented. While you still want to be compartmentalized and,
so different. I'll be trying to say, I was sending Andrea some screenshots. There was more that came up, but I was like, that was last week. I'm chill. But like, I think just dating now and everything else, I think, I don't even say we lost. I don't know if we ever had it. What true companionship and partnership is, right? Like we spend so much time trying to define it in some specific way. And that way is always according to convenience, right? Like the narrative changes.
Work. It's 100% work. You work at that relationship all the time.
And people don't want to work.
Is that a 50-50 love? Is he's giving 100% and you're giving 100%? And if someone is sick or someone down then, okay, my 100 can melt with your, that's different. But you're always putting 100% effort. Like excellence is the standard for both of you. Like I want to give you my best because you deserve it.
Yeah.
And I deserve your best.
Right. And that's the thing. I think like we operate in this favor factor now and we argue who's the prize and who like it's hard fighting through like all of the nonsense and the BS. And I've just actually within the last few days kind of changed my narrative. Because people would always ask what I'm looking for. And I was like, I always said rather, how is my life easier with you in it? Right. And then I kind of figured like, that might be a wrong way of thinking
Because it's not going to be easy.
It ain't gonna be easy.
Right.
It's
Well,
not
no.
going
Right.
to be
And
easy
so,
at
but
all.
what I just started saying literally in the last couple of days is how is my life better with you in it? Because better ain't always easy, right?
Right.
And so it's like somebody who matches my energy, who matches my effort. And there was an analogy that I just came up with. My former boss, she passed away last year, but she would take the staff out to dinner or lunch, like to celebrate us and everything else. And when she did, it was always like restaurants that added gratuity, and she would always tell them to take the gratuity off, right? Like she said, if you take it off, you'll get more, right? And so I thought about that, like, and that's literally how I date. Don't come telling me what I'm supposed to do and what I have to do, right? If you come and be you and that fits me, what you get from me is going to be more than what you sitting here telling me you expect from me, right? Because if that's your baseline, I could give you that, but it's nowhere near what I can give you, right? So if you fall back, just be you and let me be me, I'm going to give you more than what you thought. And sometimes, I mean, I've had situations to where I got things that I didn't know that I needed. I was like, I didn't even know I needed that, but now that I got it, we need that.
I was thinking about this this week. I just think a lot of people, whether it's relationships or life, like we're always looking for feedback, right? Like it's not enough to exist in and of ourselves, what our desires are, what we want to see in our household. We're kind of looking, right? We're looking on social media, we're looking at our parents, we're looking at our friends, like, what is this supposed to look like versus I'm happy in this situation, or I need to improve this situation, like whatever it is. We're constantly looking for some sort of benchmark. We're looking for approval. We're looking for the upgrade. Like there's always a need for feedback in our lives versus like, I'm on this road, let me make this happen. Now, I'm not saying, I mean, I think feedback is beneficial, but it can also be overkill, right? Like having somebody that you trust. If we're talking about relationships, having a married couple as a set of mentors, or your pastor, or you or maybe it is your parents, but everybody can't give you feedback. My God, like it's Instagram. I mean, shout out to the podcast and please subscribe and like this video. But
and push that like button.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, hit the like button.
But we get so much information on a regular basis. And even for this podcast, my desire for anybody that's tuning in, you're not taking this as gospel. It's an opportunity for you to think.
Unless I'm
right?
talking, that's gospel.
He believes that too. That's so funny. He believes it.
Like, that's it.
Right?
It's like it's just an opportunity for you to think, even if you think differently, because of course he and I think differently sometimes, right? And so it's not always you're right or I'm right, but it's okay, we're meeting at this crossroads. I'm listening. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. Sometimes I'm like, no, this is this is how I feel, and this is how I'm gonna feel. And we go on with it. So, taking feedback is one, or hearing feedback, but trying to apply everything to your life may find you being very unhappy. Like if I applied the template of, 2 years, you need to have a ring, or whatever. For some people it's a year, for some people it's 2 years. You need to have a ring, you need to know. That wouldn't have worked for me. But also, my relationship and marriage is completely different from most people. Like I don't have any friends that are in a military relationship. You can't even give me no feedback. What you would tell me would not work in my relationship. Likewise, perhaps maybe what I'm sharing with you wouldn't work with yours. I don't spend a lot of time by myself, but there are times that I'm by myself. So if I, try to apply or tell you to do the things that I do, that might break up your household. I'm like, X amount of times here and there, I'm able to do this, that. Girl, you should be able to blah, blah, blah. And that might not work in your house or vice versa. I don't know how you can spend all that time by yourself. Somebody might say that. And again, worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Because what is working for somebody might not work for you, and vice versa. Again, it's great to see possibility. It's great to have other thoughts where you go, oh, I never thought about that. But if it's not going to work for you, then don't force it. And also don't blame somebody else because they're not doing what you're doing. I've always said, find the person that matches your program, right? If you want somebody that does X, Y, and Z and doesn't do A, B, and C, that's what you need to be looking for. But it appears that people want to grab who they want and then make them do the things. And that
ain't gonna never work.
And that's not going
to work.
Don't work.
Or find somebody that you can build a program with.
Absolutely. And when I say program, meaning like your likes, your wants, and your desires, not necessarily. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. But
those change because
right. That's what I mean. Like you get with somebody and you like together. You find out we like this together. Like I used to like this. Like for me, I'm different than I was before. Like, especially when I hit 40, my interest changed. You remember me? I listen. I partied enough for 10 men. And now I'm so uncomfortable partying. I'm sitting. My boys took a picture of me this weekend. We out partying at somewhere I didn't really want to be. And there's a picture. I'm just standing there, looking like
I'm ready to go home.
Dead ass. That's exactly how I look. I'm gonna send you the picture, right? And I was like,
when is this gonna be over?
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, and the thing is, they were all married. Right, it was 5 of them. They were all married, and they were just excited to be out of the house, right? And I was just like,
"That's not nice."
I'm serious because and I'm saying that because they're normally like taking care of their family. They're in, but they don't go out that much. And they're like, "Man, you single? What you be getting into?" I'm like, "I be trying to be in, bro. Yeah. I'm trying to find somebody to go home to." Versus, like, I have to be out to find somebody that I can get back home and build something with.
Yeah. And that's why appreciating the season that you're in is so important, right? Like all the married people, not all, but a lot of married people will tell the single people like, woo, child, be glad for what you have. And then the single people are telling them, like everybody wants to be on the other side of the line. Mm-hmm. And I will say, that's one, even though I didn't realize it when I was going through the extended single season, but I did everything that I wanted to do. I enjoyed, that season of my life. I do not wish to return there. Mm-hmm. But, I did that. I don't have any regrets, with that. And I'm trying to live my life now. So I don't have any regrets about this season. So,
So this cat told me this. I don't know what to do with this information.
Uh-oh.
My head don't get messed up.
I don't know why I know this.
Yeah, my head don't get messed up often, but my head was messed up when he said this. So we're at the club, and he said something like, "Bro, such and such about being single or whatever, right?" And I was like, "Man, no, I'm just looking for I'm trying to get like y'all, you know what I'm saying? Find me a wife, blah blah blah." He was like, "Don't do it, bro." He's like, "Don't do it." I was like, "Man, it's just about finding the right one." He was like, "No." He was like, "Listen, I found the right one." Uh-oh. He's like, "My wife is amazing." Oh, he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "My wife is amazing." He's like, "And I'm still telling you, don't do it."
That sounds like parents. I don't think I've ever heard anybody married say that, but I have heard some parents like, "No, I love my kid, but."
Yeah, no, he was like, "I have a great marriage. My wife is amazing." Yeah. But he was like,
that's crazy.
That's what I'm like. I've heard from the dudes that's like, "Oh, she get on my nerves." Okay, that's common. You hear that, like, bro, man, make sure all that. I get it if your marriage was, But he was like, no, my wife is amazing. Like I've never
That's
been told
crazy.
not to get married by someone with an amazing wife.
With an amazing wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know what to connect that to. I don't know, like,
Was he saying like because he did it too early, or maybe he should have waited more time?
I don't know. We were drinking at the club, so I definitely want to dive into it.
And it's just like, maybe it was a little too early because I mean,
I
sooner or
don't.
later he was still going to do it because she was still amazing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I
Wow.
was like,
Well, that's a cliffhanger.
I'm gonna find out because when we hang out again, I'm gonna be like, bro, when you said that, like, and I'll
does that
report
mean?
back. But yeah, he
Well,
was like,
let's
my wife is amazing.
let's
Oh,
slide
wow.
into some final thoughts.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I think he's giving us all of his.
That was
Finally.
that was the final thought.
Mom, I am never out of thoughts. That's fun fact.
Mic drop. Right. Final thought for this
Give us his
evening.
final thoughts.
There is that one thing you have never got to worry about is me running out of thoughts.
Final for this evening. So, Mom, as your final thought, of course, it could be medical, it could be around any of the topics that we talked about, or you can kind of bounce around. But what are your final thoughts?
Well, I wish the best for Ashanti and Nelly, of course. That's my final thought.
Ooh.
Not being a hater. No, what is talking about, boo?
I am definitely a hater. That girl fine. Listen,
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
she can't sing a lick, but
The only person
Oh
that's
my gosh.
I know is mad is Irv. Irv Gotti. I know he's somewhere.
oh,
mad.
he's somewhere cutting himself right now.
You guys are just ridiculous.
Listen,
Gosh, no.
let me stay tuned to Drink Champs. He'll be there in a minute.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, what I really want to say is that it is our responsibility to make sure that we are doing all that we can do for ourselves, and that you should not ever be afraid or anxious or anything about asking the question, not just asking the right questions. A lot of times you may go to the doctor with someone, with yourself. My suggestion is always write the questions down that you have, because when you get in there, the doctor will automatically begin to spin their own story because they want to get what they want done. They want to get out of there in 3 to 4 minutes. Andrea had an appointment with her dad's doctor, and that's the first thing I said. Before he starts talking, start asking the questions and just keep firing the questions away. And that is how she was able to get the information. And so I want to tell you, do not be afraid to not just ask the questions, but asking the right questions. And the right questions are the ones that you have and have never asked before. Okay. And there's 3 things you always should know when you leave the doctor's office. You push that elevator button, you be like, I meant to ask. This doesn't have to happen because you took your list. Number 1, what is the diagnosis? What is it called? Is it skin red? Whatever it is, what is the exact name? Okay. Number 2, what is the plan? What's the treatment plan? Is there a return visit? Is there a specialist? What is a plan? And finally, the treatment options, the plan of care, the treatment options. Is it medicine? Is it food? Is it exercise? Is it a total of all of those? And make sure it makes sense to you, that you leave there understanding what is going to go on, because there's nothing worse than even somebody you want to help and they literally cannot remember what the doctor said. Well, he said it was something about my blood, and that's, what I'm saying? So just think about it. Don't be afraid to ask, because this is your life and this is your body. So, as always, feel free to join that powerful patient movement, because I intend for you to be powerful when you go in that office, for you to know who you are, what you have, and what you want. You should be getting that.
Boom.
Boom.
Practical information that you can pick up and apply. Hope you're writing them down. If not, because I know sometimes you all are driving and listening to us, go back to the video. We put them inside of the comments, pick them up, use them. She's absolutely correct. I used the questions for my dad. I've done it for myself. I mean, absolutely. When you're making an appointment, and you're feeling things in your body. I don't know what it is about the doctor's office. You never feel how you felt when you get in there. And then you're like, was it my left knee? Was it my ankle? So yes, write it down when you feel it, when you experience it. Take your little pad, or for many of us, put it on your notepad on your phone. And before they get to go, because they go, that must definitely be training in medical school. How fast can you get out of the room? And you need to be able to go, hold on, and run down all of your concerns and get them addressed. Because again, you are typically paying for insurance one way or the other. So you want to make sure you get that taken care of. So I definitely will co-sign that. And that's why it was important to have her to come and share with you directly. Remember, if you are a new subscriber, you've done so over the past weekend through today. If you let us know, then we will connect you with Miss Angela for your free consultation with her, whether it's for you or maybe a parent, grandparent, loved one. I'm just happy you're here. Of course, thank you so much for supporting us. And, when we said we were going to do it, this was during the pandemic. And so, yes, she heard the pre-shows, she heard the shows, she heard the post-shows. And she still tuned in like she didn't know any of that stuff. So, thank you for doing that, for sharing. She's been on the subscription drive over the past few days too. So thank you for those of you who are tuning in to come to see her and to subscribe and be with us. We're so happy to have you. So that's my final thought, is just thank you for being here. And, I'm excited for some little things for us to do in the future. I always, think that people can be blessed, hearing from you directly. And I think even this conversation, like multi-generational conversations, are important, especially in our community. Exactly. Right? Like we don't do a lot of this. Barzini's question was spot on. I think, we can do a little bit more of that. Like what was happening in this generation and where did this change or the shift happen to where we are? And now we have a couple of generations even under us, and they way far from. I think we were probably about the closest to you guys. And then after that, it just starts doing its own thing. Right. But like, why? What can we do to make that connection? But great grandma, mom, daughter, granddaughter, they're not all having these conversations. And it's important to know what they're going through, but also to let them know, what you went through and what you're probably still going through. Because I think one of the most eye-opening moments for me as an adult was realizing you are more than my mom. I was like, oh, because you got married and had me at an age that I couldn't even fathom, right? And you weren't like a teen mom, you were an adult, but it was like, you're young. You. Yeah. No, I wanted to make sure that was clear, but you were, it was like, I remember what I was doing at 23, and it wasn't thinking about no kids. Right. And mortgages. I remember what she was doing at 23. Yeah, exactly. I was living my best life. So yeah, when I got to be an adult, I was like, oh my God. Like, for my dad too, like they were more than just mom and dad. They were trying to figure it out. Some things they may have had their parents, help on. Some things they didn't, and they just had to figure it out. And so, these are not realizations that I think everybody carries with them when they, get upset about certain things. You got to think we're all here on earth trying to figure it out and get it right. And sometimes you do, and plenty times you do not. So that's my final thought. All right, Barzini.
Another set of final thoughts. Go for it.
All my thoughts seem so absolute and final, I know. First part of my final thoughts, be accountable. And that is akin to literally everything we talked about tonight, from your health to the details about your life to your relationships And I'm talking about both sides. Like, don't pawn what's going on in your life on someone else, right? Men and women alike, nobody is wasting your time. It is your time. You do with your time as you choose and see fit what's best with your life. If that's staying, if that's leaving, it's yours. Be accountable for that and the decisions that you make for it. If you decide that there was a relationship that you let go and you shouldn't have let go and you want to spin the block like Nelly did, spin the block, right? Because at the end of the day, we are so worried about public image and what other people think of us when we make certain decisions that we make more wrong decisions, and we sitting at home wishing we can have that thing back, but we too worried about what people are going to think that we don't go get it. That's relationally, love, professionally, whatever. Go get that thing that you want and stop worrying about what somebody else thinks. Women, if you want to get married, if you want to ask him to marry you, ask him to marry you. Stop worrying about what social media think. Oh, I'll never, and that's why you've never. Couldn't be.
Everybody can do, and you can.
Everybody, like, listen, if you decide that ain't you, okay, so be it. But if there's something like, and I'm on record saying this, we do women such a disservice by telling them to wait for him to ask you, and knowing that that's what you want. In every aspect of life, we tell women, go get it, go get that degree, go get that job, go start that business. Don't wait, you got it. But then when it comes to love, oh no, wait for him, right? And that just.
But again, that's the feedback, right?
Yeah, no, I get
and that's
that.
the loud feedback.
That's the loud feedback. Yeah. So yeah, if that's what you want, and it's probably a bunch of single women that ain't never had nobody, ain't got nobody telling you don't do it, right? So it is. So don't miss out on something that could be potentially great for you because you're worried about what somebody else thinks, right? And men, vice versa, you know, and all of it. It's like, listen, this is your life, and it's the only one that you're gonna get. Take care of it. Take care of you. Take care of the people in it. And yeah, I can't even remember my second thought. So that's
that's the one.
my final thought.
That's
Yeah.
the one. That's the one. Thanks y'all for rolling with us.
Don't look so
Just a
surprised,
reminder,
Mom. It's gonna come back, and I'm gonna log back on. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way.
it'll be the post show. Make sure to post your favorite episode, and maybe this is your new favorite episode. Take the link, put it on your social media, tag us, okay, so that we know that you've done it. And when we hit that 500, we'll have a drawing. So, it might be you. It might be you.
But you'll never know until you take that leap. Say something. Say something. Well, Roadies and Road Dogs, it's been real.
It's been an extended Crossroads.
Yeah, extended Crossroads, but we appreciate y'all rocking with us as always every week. Mom, we love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. That information and your wisdom is invaluable. We appreciate you, and you are always welcome to come back.
Oh, thank you.
On the show and judge me.
She be in the comments. In the comments.
I know. Listen, I told when you walked away early in the pre-show, I told Angie, I was like, I'm gonna say something much. But we love you and we love all y'all. And in parting, always remember.
You know what you're supposed to say, Mama?
Oh, be free to be you.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
All right. You all have a fantastic. I put her on the spot, but I'm glad she knew what to do.
Yeah, she's like, all right.
All right. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.